You know why stakeholders are important. If it weren't for the stakeholders, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But how you do a good stakeholder management, that is a skill you can learn starting now. If you're new here, I'm Ace. I help BAs grow and succeed in their roles. So if you want to learn tips and techniques on how to enhance your BA skills, start now by subscribing. Stakeholder management can be very challenging for some BAs. So watch until the end because the last tip I'll share will help you manage your emotions, allowing you to be more effective in your management. First, let's do a recap. Stakeholder is anyone who has interest in your project. Could be customers, other teams, or senior management. It could even be that friendly neighborhood cat who frequents your business front. The key is they all matter in one way or another. To learn more about stakeholders and performing a stakeholder analysis, click this link. Once you're finished with your stakeholder analysis, prioritize your stakeholders. Not everyone's needs are created equal. Some are like VIP at the party. They're called key stakeholders. The others are more like acquaintances. Focus on meeting the needs of your key stakeholders first, as these are what will drive the team to deliver the project. After your initial engagement with the stakeholders, the next step is to communicate, and you know it, communicate. Always keep your stakeholders in the loop. Send out invitations to the project progress party. If your team is practicing agile, make sure you include your stakeholders in your sprint reviews at the end of each sprint. Regular updates, meetings, and feedback sessions are the best ways to maintain transparency. Next is to manage expectations accordingly. Remember, not everything is possible. Stakeholders will always have a million things they want done and delivered, but a project will always be limited in resources, time, and budget. So usually delivering the most viable product, or MVP for short, is the main objective. Sometimes you just gotta say, sorry, we can't have a unicorn at the party. Always be honest and realistic about what can be achieved. After the party, gather some feedback by asking your guests how it went. Did they have a blast? What could have been better? And use that feedback to improve your stakeholder management in the next event. When presenting the project's progress, sometimes stakeholders will be satisfied with what was demonstrated, especially if it aligns with the requirements. Other times, there may be some key changes that need to be made, and your stakeholders will always provide you with this information. In this scenario, the review and feedback process will be two-way. Ensure you capture this feedback, assess it accordingly, and discuss it with your project team to understand the key impacts of implementing the new changes. Then report back to your stakeholders so they can advise whether to implement the new changes or not. Next is continuous improvement. Stakeholder management isn't a one-time deal. It's an ongoing process. For each project that you work on during your BA career, you will always encounter a new set of stakeholders. Some groups will stay the same if you remain with the same company, but there will always be new ones to be added on the list. While some stakeholders will be easy to deal with, others may be more challenging than the last. So keep learning, growing, and refining your skills and approach so that you are always prepared to manage the next set of stakeholders. We have now reached the end, and as promised, here's a pro tip. Always expect issues to arise and switch on your problem-solving skills. Just like when the party drinks get spilled, issues and challenges will emerge. Handle them with grace, be proactive, and don't let small problems turn into party poopers. I know, some people will be very difficult to deal with. Some will start pointing fingers, and some may even raise their voices at you. That's just human nature. We all need to vent out our frustration sometimes. The key here for you is to remain level-headed and keep your eyes on the goal, because at the end of the day, you're in that role to deliver a project. If you're a new BA, you will definitely be affected by these issues on an emotional and psychological level. So always have a support plan. As you progress in your BA career, you will realize that frustrations directed at you often stem from issues outside the scope of your project. You will eventually learn how to cope with and handle these types of stakeholders, so don't be discouraged. During the course of delivering the project, you will reach a certain point when you need to gather requirements. At that stage, you'll need to conduct a detailed session with your stakeholders through workshops, which I will discuss in this next video.